Rimuru, the Hero Copycat by RimuruEdward6. Chapter 1. Izuku Pav. I saw Rimuru walking up to me. "Hi Rimuru, it's good to see you," I said, trying to sound cheerful despite the knot in my stomach. Rimuru grinned, her golden eyes shining with their usual sharp, analytical glint. She tucked a strand of silver hair behind her ear and adjusted her backpack. "Hey, Izuku. How's the hero research coming along?" I clutched my notebook instinctively. "Great. I just finished analyzing some of All Might's most recent rescues. Did you know he's saved over 100 people in a single day? He's incredible." "Of course he is," Rimuru said with a smirk. "You've probably got every little detail recorded in that notebook of yours, haven't you?" I chuckled nervously. "Why yeah, you know me. Rimuru was my best friend, and we'd known each other since we were little." She always had this calm confidence about her, like she was 10 steps ahead of everyone else. Her quirk, analytical copycat, let her analyze other people's quirks with just a glance, and she could store them in her mind like a database. She didn't show it off often, but when she did, it was amazing. "Speaking of quirks," Rimuru said, tilting her head, "did Katsuki give you a hard time today?" I froze. How could she always tell? "Well," I began, but before I could explain, an angry shout echoed down the street. "Deku!" Katsuki Bakugo stormed toward us, his hands crackling with tiny explosions. His scowl was enough to make my stomach flip, but Rimuru stepped between us before he could get too close. "Katsuki," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Why don't you take it down a notch?" "Oh, it's you," Katsuki sneered, but he didn't make a move. "What are you doing with this useless nerd?" "None of your business," Rimuru replied smoothly, crossing her arms. "Unless you're planning to blow something up, in which case I'll remind you that I can copy your quirk and outdo you at your own game." Katsuki's scowl deepened, but he didn't argue. He just clicked his tongue and turned away. "Whatever. Just don't get in my way." As he walked off, I let out a shaky breath. "Thanks, Rimuru. You didn't have to do that." "Of course I did," she said with a shrug. "Someone has to keep him in check." We continued walking, the weight of Katsuki's words lingering in the air. I tried not to let it get to me, but it was hard. No quirk. No chance of becoming a hero. I clenched my fists, frustration bubbling under the surface. "Izuku," Rimuru said suddenly, breaking the silence. "Do you still want to be a hero?" I stopped in my tracks, caught off guard by the question. "Of course I do," I said quietly. "More than anything. But, without a quirk." "Don't say that," Rimuru interrupted. "You don't need a quirk to be a hero. You've got the heart for it, and that's what matters most." Her words were kind, but they didn't erase the doubt in my mind. Still, I nodded, trying to believe her. As we reached the crosswalk, Rimuru's expression shifted. She glanced at me, then back at the street, like she was debating something. "What is it?" I asked. She hesitated before speaking. "If you ever feel like giving up, just remember, there's more to you than you realize. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, tell you otherwise." Her words stayed with me as we parted ways, and I headed home. Little did I know, my life was about to change forever. Later that day, after I'd been attacked by the sludge villain and saved by All Might, Rimuru showed up at the riverbank, her expression unreadable. "You're really something, Izuku," she said, crouching beside me as I clutched my ruined notebook. Running in to save Katsuki without a second thought. That's what being a hero is all about. "But I started, but she cut me off." "No buts," she said firmly. "You acted when no one else did. That's what matters." I stared at her, surprised by the intensity in her voice. "Do you really think I can be a hero?" Rimuru smiled, her usual confidence shining through. "I know you can." For a moment, I almost believed her. Rimuru sat beside me, her silver hair glowing faintly under the setting sun. She looked me in the eyes, her usual calm and knowing expression softening just slightly. "Besides, you have a quirk," she said suddenly. My eyes widened. "What?" "No, I don't. The doctors said." Rimuru held up a hand to stop me. "The doctor's machines can't detect everything, Izuku. There are quirks out there that don't manifest physically, quirks that are subtle, almost invisible. Yours is one of them." I stared at her, trying to process her words. "But, what do you mean?" She leaned back, resting her hands on the ground behind her. Your quirk is an analytical one. I'd call it something like analytical appraisal. You've always been able to analyze situations, strategies, quirks, even people, better than anyone else I know. You just never thought of it as a quirk because no one told you it was one. That doesn't make sense, I stammered. Analyzing things is just something anyone can do, right? Rimuru shook her head. Not like you. You pick up on patterns and details that no one else sees, and you do it faster than most people realize. That's why your notebooks are so detailed, why you can break down hero fights like you're inside their heads. It's a part of you, Izuku. You just don't know how to push it further yet. I blinked, my heart racing. But even if that's true, how does that help me become a hero? Rimuru smirked, her sharp gaze locking onto mine. Because quirks like that have limitless potential if you train them. Become proficient enough, and you can do things most people think are impossible, like predicting the future. I froze. Predict the future. That sounded like something straight out of a storybook. Think about it, she continued. You already analyze fights and strategies instinctively. If you hone that ability, you could start predicting outcomes, anticipating attacks, and outmaneuvering enemies before they even know what's happening. Heroes don't always need flashy powers, Izuku. The best ones use their minds just as much as their quirks. Her words filled me with a strange mix of hope and doubt. Could she be right? Was it possible that I had something, anything, that could help me become a hero? But, I began, my voice trembling. If I really have a quirk, why didn't anyone notice it before? Rimuru shrugged. Most people only recognize quirks that are flashy or obvious. The ones that slip under the radar are often dismissed or overlooked. That doesn't make them any less powerful. She stood up and brushed off her uniform. You've got what it takes, Izuku. I'm sure of it. Now, the real question is, are you going to let the world tell you who you are, or are you going to decide for yourself? Her words hung in the air as I stared down at my hands, the remnants of my burned notebook still clutched tightly. Could I really do it? Could I prove everyone wrong and become the hero I'd always dreamed of being? For the first time, a tiny spark of hope flickered in my chest. Maybe Rimuru was right. Izuku's paw. Later that day, after classes ended, Kachan and I were catching up, well, more like exchanging a few heated words. It's always tense with him, but we've known each other for so long that even our arguments have a strange rhythm. Just as we started to part ways, it happened. The sludge villain attacked again. Panic rippled through the crowd. People ran in every direction, screams echoing through the streets. Kachan and I split up instinctively, each ducking into different hiding spots. I pressed myself against a crumbling wall, trying to stay quiet, even though my heartbeat was thundering in my ears. Not again. Not this villain. Not now. All Might's paw. I arrived on the scene moments later, expecting things to be handled. From what I saw, most of the civilians were clear. I was just about to jump into action when a voice crackled through my earpiece. Hero copycat here. Don't move yet. There are still civilians hiding, 2 of them, actually. I've got someone on site who can teleport them out, but she can't be seen. Her quirk's unstable if she's carrying more than one person, but she'll manage. I froze. Copycat. Who the hell is that? I didn't know the name, and I definitely didn't like being told to wait, but whoever this was, they had intel I didn't. So, I held back. Just for a moment. Izuku's paw. A figure stepped into the alley, tall, confident, and somehow both familiar and not. Then I recognized her. Rimuru. I gasped. My childhood friend. My classmate. She hadn't changed at all, calm as ever, even with a monster tearing up the street. I can get us out, she said, eyes scanning the smoke-filled area. But we have to go now. No, I shouted before I even thought about it. Kachan's still out there, I'm not leaving him. Izuku. I ran. I didn't even think about it. I just ran to him. Kachan was still trapped, eyes narrowed as he tried to blast the villain away. He didn't see me coming, and he sure didn't expect Rimuru to follow and grab both of us at the last second. Hold on, she muttered. And just like that, everything warped. Colors bent. Gravity tilted. Then came the cold flash of her teleportation. We were gone. All Might's paw. Copycat here, the voice said again. Perimeter's clear. Go do your job. That was all I needed to hear. I clenched my fists, rose above the chaos, and shouted, I am here. Then I did what I was born to do.